Hi everyone, I'm Monique with Open Gate Quilts, and today I'm going to show you how to make Long May She Wave from Karen Yaffe. This was highlighted in our Americana 250 box, and for those of you who are unfamiliar with wool applique, I'm going to go over some tips and tricks on how to put it together, and we're going to get started. So let's go. So this is her pattern, and she designed this specifically for our Americana box, which I'm super excited for. Her designs are fabulous, and she is the nicest lady. So if you're interested in the pattern and you have not gotten the 250 Americana box, you can always go on her website, and I believe, let me just make sure, it's KLDdesignsonline.com, so it's right here at the bottom, and I'll reference that so you guys can see that's her website. It's a great pattern. It was a lot of fun to make, and I was especially excited that she did it specifically for her 250 Americana box. So the first thing that you do is when you get your kit, you're going to open it up, and you should have a piece of freezer paper. The freezer paper is basically, it's got an adhering on one side and then paper on the other. And what you need to do is you need to draw the oval for I want to call it like a little mat. So it's, you draw your oval for your mat. You fuse it with the fuse side, and it's not permanent. It's freezer paper, so it just kind of melts it and puts it on there. It does not leave any residue, and it stays on there. What I'm doing is I'm just going to cut this off and take the freezer paper off. What this does is it gives you a nice base, and you can cut it out nicely. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and cut it out. A couple of things that you're going to need to have is you're going to need to have some nice sharp scissors for both cutting this out as well as cutting out your applique pieces. With your applique pieces, you want a smaller, excuse me, I've got my threads kind of following me here. You've got smaller stitch scissors that you're going to need because you're going to cut some smaller pieces. I'm using regular larger scissors to cut out my freezer paper template, and this is for easy, just cut out your oval. The nice thing about this size is it does fit on an 8.5 by 11 inch piece of paper, and if you want to, again, you just go ahead, go ahead and use just regular freezer paper, whatever works for you. So it gives you a nice little base here, and then you're just going to want to take it off, and there you go, you've got your base. If, like I did, I've got a little jagged edge, I just can go back and cut it with my scissors to make it nice. So that is your base, and that's what you want to use to start doing your applique. Once you have that ready, the next thing that you're going to do is you want to cut all your applique pieces out, and the instructions have everything in here for you, have all your pieces. Your kit also includes all the pieces that you need, plus all the threads that you need, and a needle. I included the needle because I wanted to make sure that you had a good sharp needle that will work. This is my preferred needle, and I'm going to give you the name of it, so if you are interested in doing more. It's Embroidery Redwork size 10, and this is a Gina Kimball's, I think that's it, yep, Foxglove Cottage needles, and they are really a nice needle. The reason I like them is that they're sharp, so that they go through your applique really easily. I also included all the threads, and they are all Valdani, and they are all what Karen had asked for this kit. So they are all in there for you to use. So I did include that as well, and they're all in your little pieces here. So you get your needle, your wool, your background piece, your thread, and I also put a piece of flannel in it for the backing, but I will go through that at the end so you can see how that works. So that's included with that. Like I said, once you have this done, the next thing you're going to do is you want to trace all your pieces out on freezer paper, on Heat and Bond Light. And you do have a piece of that included in your kit as well, so you have that. And again, if you don't have the kit, you can hop over to Karen's website and she can help you set you up with the pattern. I don't have any kits left because we used it all for the Americana quilt. Using the Heat and Bond Light, it's very simple. You can go on our website as well to check out how to use fusible webbing, the Heat and Bond Light. Our website is opengatequilts.com, and it'll show you or explain how to do that. It's similar to the freezer paper in that you want to trace on the paper side, and then the fusing side is what goes on your actual wool. Why do we use a fusible? The reason I use a fusible is so that the edges don't fray when I'm sewing, and also it helps adhere to your background so that when you're stitching it won't move. There are other ways to do it. This is my preferred way to do it, so that's why I included it for you. Once you get everything traced, she's got it really well marked, telling you what to cut, what to make. One of the things I did want to tell you is that the blue that's included, you get two pieces. You get a blue like this, and also on the reverse side is this ticking, and I gave you two separate pieces. So when you're doing this, one will be for a star plus your let me get the sample here so you can see. One will be for the star, and the other one will be for the back, another star plus the back or the top part of your flag here. So you see we've got that. So when you're doing this, this is different from this because this has the ridges on it. So when you want this flower, you are going to adhere to the opposite side because the fusible will go underneath. So for this, we want this more solid looking. We would fuse the top part of the flag using this side, so the ridged side, and then it flips over and goes on there. So that's how that works as far as that's concerned. So that's how we cut those out. What you'll do, and I'll do this little demo here, get my little scissors. I have them somewhere. So I have some scissors that I'll use, and basically you're just going to cut exactly on the line. A couple things when I'm working with, especially with stars and things that have inner points, I like to go in and then I turn my piece and come around. So I go in and turn and come around. And you're just going to cut all your pieces out. And then I do them all, fuse them all on, cut them all out, and then adhere them to my background. Just a couple notes on this. as far as your lettering, you can mark that. You don't have to put it in, but you can certainly mark that, and that's what I did. I just used a iron away marking pen, and I wrote that on there. If you have a light box, you can put that on top of the pattern, and then again, you can write it on there. Just make sure that whatever whatever pen that you do use, that it does come off your wool before you actually use it. So I would go on the reverse side and just put a little mark on and make sure that it's used. So you get all those on there. And when I do my wool applique, I always put everything on and then stitch it. And that's one of the reasons I like to do that, is that I don't like to go back and forth from my sewing room to my hand stitching, because I do all my hand stitching basically in front of the TV. So if I have to get up and do it, then I probably won't end up doing it. So if I have it all there ready, then I can just go ahead and start stitching. So that's why I do that all ahead of the time. So what I would do is I would lay everything on, and I'm bringing this one over here. I would lay everything on, fuse it, and then do my stitching. Some people like to do all their vines first and then put their applique, whatever works for you. So if you have questions on it, you can always ask me, but you can always look online as well. When I was learning how to do this, that's what I did, is I just went online and checked out different videos, checked out different stitches, and that kind of thing. I am going to go over some stitches today so you can see them, but I just wanted to show you how I put it together. So that's what I would do. I would adhere it. So I'd put it all on, and then what you want to do before you actually fuse it is use some kind of cloth that will either a pressing cloth or something. I use an old handy white dish rag. I wet it, put it on top, and then it steams the fusible in place, and then you can go ahead and stitch. So that's how I would do that. So let me show you here. So then you just pull off the paper. If you're having trouble taking off the paper, is I just kind of flick the end here and then do that. Okay, once I have it fused in place, then what I will do is I'm going to stitch around here, and I'm also going to show you some different stitching techniques. So when I do this, you can do a whip stitch, which is what she had suggested, or you can do a blanket stitch. A whip stitch is very simple, and I always start in my background, and then you're going to take a little stitch into your applique piece and come out in your background along the edge. So you're just going to do a little whip stitch through it. And you would do around the whole entire thing. That's what she does. She did for all her stars. If you prefer to do a blanket stitch, you're going to start off the same way, but instead of just doing a stitch, what you're going to do is you're going to come up in your background where that stitch came in, and you're going to stitch over. And I'm going to show that on a different, I'm going to show it here so you can see what I'm talking about. So what you'll do is you're going to come over whatever width you would like to, come and do a parallel stitch here, or a horizontal stitch, pull down your thread, go back and do another horizontal stitch, and just keep going until you get all the way around. So that's how you would do a blanket stitch. So once you have your star stitched, then what I'll do is I'm going to come up on a point and I'm going to go down the center and I'm going to do a stitch. Then I'm going to come up to another point here, inside point, and do a stitch to the center. And that will give you the effect of this here, which is the way the star looks. When you're done that, the next thing you're going to do is you want to do some French knots, and I'm going to show you how to do that. But let me change, actually I'm just going to do it over here. So what we'll do is when you do a French knot, you're going to come up here, you're going to stitch, or you're going to take a stitch. So to do a French knot, what you're going to do is you're going to come up, you're going to take the end of your needle and you're going to wrap it 3 times. And then you will come back in, and you don't want to go in the exact spot. You want to go just next to it, and you're going to hold, this is important, hold this thread with your thumb, so the one that comes from the wrapped thread, and you're going to pull down and you get a French knot. And for your French knots, you want to do 3 together and kind of bunch them together to look like that. It takes a little practice to get them, but once you do, they look really cool. And if you want it a little thicker, you can always do 2 threads, or you could just do the 1 thread and wrap it 3 times. I did do those. She has you do those on all the little berries and the little flowers on your little mat here, and also over here. So we've done the blanket stitch, we've done the buttonhole. This is just a straight stitch. Through the leaves, she did a straight stitch as well. I'm going to switch my thread colors to a black so you can see it a little better. I know I had some issues seeing that, but I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to okay, so for the straight stitch that we put through the leaves here, and she has all this instructions written out wonderfully in the instructions, so don't forget, if you are looking to do this, if you don't have this kit already, you can go on to kldesignsonline.com and you can just check with her to get this pattern. It might not be available quite yet because we just sent out the Americana box and she was waiting till everybody's received it and to actually publish it. So she did give us first rights to it, which is awesome. Okay, so the next stitch I'm going to show you is this nice little straight stitch here, and it's actually pretty simple. So you're going to want to come up, and it's basically, it's like a quilt stitch. You're just going to go and weave in and out. So you're just going to weave in and out and then pull it through. You try and get your stitches as even as possible. The next stitch is a stem stitch, and so with a stem stitch, what you'll do is you're going to pull your thread down and you're going to take a stitch. back towards your original thread, and then you're going to pull it down again, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to have this same stitch length like you did the last time, and you're going to keep stitching until you are done with your stem stitch. Now, when you're doing the stem stitch, you pull down. When you pull up, it's a different kind of stitch. So you just want to make sure that if you're going to pull up, you always pull up. If you're going to pull down, you always pull down, because you want it to look consistent. When you pull up, it looks a lot different than when you pull down. So I prefer the stem stitch, so that's how I did that. So that's how you do that. So I showed you how to do the blanket stitch, the whip stitch, the straight stitch, a French knot, and the stem stitch. And then the last stitch I'm going to show you is the chain stitch. And the chain stitch is used, when you look here, it is these, and I put them right next to each other. So it's stitched right next to each other. And it's also on the numbers as well. So the chain stitch is here. So let me show you here. When you do the chain stitch, again, you're going to come out. You're going to put your needle in where that thread came out, and you're just going to grab that loop. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go back where that needle came out, and you're going to grab that loop. So basically you're continuing this down, and you get a nice little chain stitch. When you are done, because you'll run out of thread, or at the end, what I do is I just go on the other side of my loop. I just go ahead and go in. So I'm grabbing that loop, and you can see it's got just a little bit of a little leg there that holds it in place. And then you can come down and do your knot. And to do a knot, all I do is I go in the back, the last stitch that I had, and I do 2 loops, and then I catch that last one, and then I cut it off. Once you get this all done, the next thing that you're going to do is you want to do your backing for your flannel. And how I do that is I take my piece of my flannel and the remaining piece of your Heat and Bond Light, and you're going to fuse it to the back of your flannel. Then what I'll do is I'm going to take my flannel piece that has a fusible, peel off the paper, adhere it to the back of my piece, and fuse it. Just be careful when you fuse that you don't get the fusible on your iron or fuse it to your surface. So you're just going to go around nicely, and then take scissors and cut around it. And then you can go back and really fuse it well so it stays nice on there. And then you're going to blanket stitch all the way around the end, display it for your 4th of July, for the 250th year, which is very exciting for the US, and lay it out and enjoy. So that's how we do our wool applique long Maishi wave. So thank you for watching my video on how to make long Maishi wave. Again, if you're interested in the pattern, you can go on to kldesignsonline.com and you can get the pattern. It's a beautiful pattern. It was fun and easy to stitch, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Quilt, bind, and enjoy. Bye.